Okay, so we are going to start sharing my screen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Teham Siddiqui. I am 8 times Salesforce certified application architect, working as a senior Salesforce developer, and also leading a community group. Okay, welcome to this workshop that we have started. We'll be learning about Salesforce Flows. This is the first session. So these are the expectations from you. Be attentive. Uh, and I also want you guys to practice. Once we start this session, I want you to guys go home, practice this, uh, and I expect that you have the basic understanding of these of standard objects and custom objects, basic understanding of standard fields and custom fields, and some basic understanding of data model and relationships. We will cover this if you are very new to Salesforce and you have no idea what are standard objects, custom objects, fields, or data model relationships. Okay, what are the expectations from this workshop series? Number one, that you will be able to understand what are the Salesforce flows, what are the types of the Salesforce flows. You can differentiate between the types of Salesforce flows. And by the end of this workshop series, you'll be able to build at least basic automations. In this workshop, the series of workshop, we will be covering the what are the Salesforce types of Salesforce, Salesforce elements, what are the limits and considerations, uh, Salesforce flows versus Apex or LWC, and flows best practices. So, and there will be much more in this workshop. Today's content, uh, today's content is basically we'll be learning about the flows, what are Salesforce flows, what are rigor triggered flows, platform event flows, auto launch flows, schedule triggered flows, and the Salesforce builder. Will be learning about Salesforce builder, their elements, um, and we'll be having the hands-on experiences. We'll be looking at the challenges and the useful resources available. So what are Salesforce flows? So some the basic understanding of these flows are this is this will help you to build this complex business logics, complex business automations without any code, using point and clicks. This is also known as no code or low code approach. The character you see on the right hand side, uh, Salesforce creates some characters to represent their products. So this is called flow, the flying squirrel. This represents the flows. Types of flows in Salesforce. So we have two types: screen flows and auto launch flows. And in auto launch flows, we have several types. So scheduled triggers, recur triggered, platform triggered, and auto launched. What are recur triggered flows? These flows are basically triggered when any of the record is updated, created, or deleted. It depends on your configuration, which object you have configured it on. So basically, you can build an automation on these actions, which is, for example, like I have this. Uh, I have this flow configured on account object. uh, let's say on account object. Once it is created, I want this particular actions to be uh, uh, performed. Platform events are similar to Ricker triggered, but the only difference is between Ricker triggered and platform event flows. The only difference is the Ricker triggered are basically based on the records, and these are based on the platform events. So platform events are another feature of Salesforce. So basically, if I have added, no. So how about PubSub API or PubSub feature? So basically, there is a publisher and there is a subscriber. Once once the publisher publish an event, subscriber reads it. So whenever a publisher pushes or creates an event, it will trigger on this event. Auto launch flows. This is something that is triggered via Apex, or it is triggered by Apex or any external services. It doesn't need any user interaction. So let me just show you the example. So here you can see that this is the record status is submitted, and using this button, this triggers the flow, and on this flow there are some actions performed, like the status is updated to assigned and the owner is changed. Schedule triggered flows. This is also similar to what rigor triggered flows are. The only difference is that you can configure it on the basis of some time interval, like daily, weekly, or once a month, or you can just set a specific time, or you can perform it like a daily, on a daily schedule or weekly schedule. Salesforce flow elements. So there are three types of elements: interaction elements, logic elements, and data elements. Interaction elements includes screen, action, and subflow. We'll be talking about this and looking at this when we are going to discuss screen flows in our next session. Logic elements includes decisions, assignments, loops, and there are some other elements they have introduced. There's a sort, and there's another one, I'm forgetting it, filter, I think, and there's another one, transform. Data elements are equivalent to DML operations. Create is equivalent to insert. How many of you know about DML statements? So DML statements are basically data manipulation language, which uses insert to create the record in the database. Update basically updates the record. Get basically selects the record, and delete deletes the record. Okay, so I want you guys to sign up yourself on Trailhead and create a playground org. Okay, so I have started the Q&A uh, session. If you have any question, you can ask in the chat. Okay, what you can do is you can search for this badge in the trailhead, and it has all the instructions, required instructions to create a playground org in trailhead. Otherwise, I have already added the instructions as well.
आपके पास चैट शो हो रही है? चैट शो हो रही है आपके पास? अगर नहीं हो रही तो मेरे पास चैट हो रही है, आप अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर
Okay, so I hope you have created the playground org. And if you have already created a playground org, then please log into this org. And this is called a setup screen. And in the quick find, we will search flows. And in this tab, we will going to click new flow. Okay, so you see that we have these options to create a new flow. We see different types that we have already discussed. We have screen flow, we have rigor triggered, schedule triggered, platform event, auto launch, and this is rigor triggered orchestrator. We will discuss this after screen flows if we get some time. The most of the common or the most often used are screen flows, recurrent triggered flows, schedule triggered flows, and auto launch flows. Today we are going to learn about how to create or how to build record triggered flows. So select record triggered flow, click create, and yes. So let's learn about this flow builder. This is a flow builder. This is called your canvas. This is your manager, resource manager. You can create resources over here. These are the elements that you can add. So let's start with the basics. Let's say I want to create an automation on account. If let's say when an account is created, I want to send a notification to a certain email or to the account. So we're going to start configuring it, clicking start, click edit. Now we can configure on what object it should trigger, what should be the context, or what should be the triggering action, what should be the conditions. So let me quickly select account. Whenever a record is created, I'm selecting a record is created. I'm not using any conditions right now. And yes, click save. Just give it a name. Click save. Now we have configured our triggering criteria. Now what we can do is we can add the send email alert action. Okay, so before that we need to sorry, let's select action and search for the send email. So these are called actions, and there are multiple actions that you can perform using this flows. So what I'm trying to do is I'm sending an email to a certain email address. Let's call it send email, and these are the some of the input values. So what should be if I enable this, this is going to be the body of the email. If I have if I have any email template already created in the flows in the Salesforce, I can add it here. I can log the email on send. If there are multiple email addresses that I want to send this email to, I can send. I can just set the collection variable over here. So these are some of the inputs. So if I just want to send a rich text email, I have to enable this. What should be the subject? What should be the sender's email address, or we can set these inputs. So let's say uh, sent because created. So I have set a body that states the email is sent because of an account is created. The subject should be account creation, or let's say creation automation. Done. Now we need to add. Now we need to create a collection variable, and Uh, we will add email address to this collection variable, and so the email will be sent to this particular email address. So let me quickly create a new resource. Email addresses. So this will allow your variable to be a collection variable, and this can store multiple values. Now I'm adding an assignment. Address to collection. So you see, I have this resource created, which is showing under the collection variables. So I need to select this. Operator that I need is add, and let's create a fake email address. Now let's edit this and add this. Click save. And to test, we have two ways to test it. One, we actually create the record, or we debug the flow. So, sorry. Okay. So we have two ways to test the flow. One is to debug, and the other one is to actually create a record and test if the email is being sent or not. So first, let's create a record and test it. The record is created. Let's see if the email is received or not. Nice. क्वेश्चन करें प्लीज।
सर ये आपने जैसे बताया कि इसको हम डिबगर से भी चेक कर सकते हैं और क्रिएट न्यू रिकॉर्ड से भी कर सकते हैं। व्हाट इज द बेस्ट वे टू चेक?
Okay, so if you want to debug a flow,
I want to say what you recommend to us. That how can we do?
debug the flow.
Yeah, debug.
Yeah. So if you are going to debug the flow, you don't need to activate it. But if you want to test it on the actual record, you need to activate it. So my mistake, I was testing on the actual record. I did not activate it. So if I activate this,
Because I think if any error occur, then we can check by debugging.
yes,
Other way is not exploiting all the things like error and
there's another feature Salesforce provides. So if any of your automation crashes, it will send you the email.
by
Yes, it will send you the email, and in this email you will have this link. If you open it, it will open the flow, and it will let you know that which path has the error occurred. Okay, the one thing that I forgot to tell you that these are the elements that we have already discussed. These are the elements, and the wires you see. Okay, so the wires you see, it is called connectors, and there are two layouts available. The auto layout. In this layout, you just need to add the elements. Just add the elements, and it will automatically sets the layout for the elements. In the free form, you can set it anywhere, and you can create. You have to add it like this. So मैं स्विच नहीं कर पाऊंगा ना, मैं कौन सा बना स्विच। I prefer the auto layout. I have to create this record again because the flow was not activated before. You see, I have received an email. The email is sent because of an account is created. That's the body that we have already set it in the action, and this is the subject. Similarly, what we can do is we can send Salesforce notification. So let's quickly create Salesforce notification. How many of you know about Salesforce notification? What is Salesforce notification? Okay. The notification that you'll receive in the here. So these are called Salesforce or custom notifications. So supported channels means so we know that Salesforce has the mobile app as well. So supported channel means that these notification will support the desktop apps or the mobile app. So I've selected both. As I have already created this workshop notification, I can go back. Now what I can do is get record, which is equal to select the record. One of the best practice is never use hard-coded IDs. So let's, before I do this, first configure the custom notification with the hard-coded ID. So I see there's an action send custom notification. Salesforce. Now it is asking me the custom notification type ID. So I have extracted the notification ID, the custom notification that we just created. I extracted the ID of this, and I'm using the hard-coded ID right now. What should be the notification body? Created. Target ID. What target ID means is, uh, if I click on this notification, where it should redirect me. So what I want is, when I'm going to create an account and I'll get the custom notification, and if I click it, it will take me to that record that just created. So for that, in the record ticket flow, we have this variable already created or already available, and this called record. And this is the record that is on which this automation is triggering. So if I select this option and search for the account ID and use this, click done. Recipient ID. So for recipient ID, I'm using the user. This is called global variables. So you see, we have multiple global variables available. So we have user role, user, system, record, profile, organization, flow, API. Organization, basically, this is your Salesforce org. So in Salesforce, you can set the timings that your users can access the. No, this is the recipient's ID. I'm using it in the recipient's ID. I'm not using organization here. It depends on your requirements. Mhm. It uses your own organization. You can use the some options from your own, like access time. This is called something I don't remember. Y- we can see it later. Okay, so this is basically a collection variable. Assignment is a logic operator, and this can be used for multiple assignments. If you have already used it, it doesn't mean that you have to use another assignment for another setting up a value to a variable. So you can see that I've already used this assignment, and I'm using this value to add in this collection variable. I click add assignment. I create a new resource which needs to be a collection variable. I call it recipients IDs, a text variable, done, and it should be equals, and it should add the user's ID, and if I try to add the now if I try to add the custom notification, and now I see another collection variable, recipients ID, the ID that I extracted for the custom notification, target ID, records ID. Okay. Now, okay, you can have around 50 versions of a single flow. If you have the activated version of a flow, you cannot edit it, but you can create a new version of it. So you see, I cannot, now I have edited it, I cannot deactivate it, I cannot save it. The only available option is save as. So if I click it, what I can do, I can create a new flow, or I can create a new version of the current flow. So it will create a new version, and you can have up to 50 versions of a flow. There's a limit. I think it is 50 or it is 100. I'm a little bit confused, but it's, I think, 50 or 100 that you can have a version uh, of a flow. If you have reached the limit new versions of this flow, so what you can do is you can delete the older ones. So let's say I have created 5 versions and the fifth version is the most latest, and now I have to create, let's say, 50 versions, and now I have to create another version, updated version of it, which becomes 51. So it will the Salesforce will not allow me to save this new version until if I version. So let's say if I delete the first version of it, second, third, fourth, fifth, any of the version, it gives me the room to save another version of the flow. So I've already the option is already selected a new version. I click save. It is saving. Now I can activate it, and I can show you how can you see all your versions of a flow. So I am in the uh, flow screen. Select the list view to triggered flows. This is the one I created. Click the drop down button, view details and versions. So I can see all the details, the label of the flow, description, uh, the activated version, uh, the UI of it, what type of flow it is, and I can see the versions of these flows. So before, this one was activated, and this was the only version of the flow available. And now I have created the second version and activated it, and also I can open the older version as well. I can open the older versions and update it and create a new version of the flow. So now I have already updated the flow. Let's create the record.
There is another option to clone the flow, I guess. There is some option of cloning the flow.
That's save as. If I save as and select a new flow, it would allow me to clone it. So I have received the custom notification. See what we have already added as a title: account successfully. Account has been created successfully. And also the email. So do we have any questions so far? Yes.
यही चीज़ हम ट्रिगर में छोटा सा कोड लिख के आराम से कर सकते हैं जो आपको चाहिए तो why we prefer flow or not.
Sorry, can you please read?
जो आपने क्रिएट रिकॉर्ड किया है ठीक है एक हम जो कोई भी रिकॉर्ड जो है ट्रिगर पे कुछ छोटा सा कोड लिख के हम इसको मतलब क्रिएट कर सकते हैं आसानी ठीक है तो ये फ्लो पे ही करना चाहिए या ट्रिगर पे करना चाहिए या फ्लो में करना चाहिए तो इसकी क्या रीजन है.
Okay. So the reason of flows is basically empowering the admins. And if you see in my slides, So as an admin, Flows is your best friend because you will be able to handle the majority of complex business requirements without the help of a Salesforce developer. So you don't need a Salesforce developer to handle such kind of automations. So Salesforce admins can build these automations on their own.
वो बात ठीक है, एक छोटा सा आपने क्रिएट किया, ठीक है, अब इसमें कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी आ जाती है, तो नहीं होता है, डिफरेंटली तो करना पड़ेगा।
I have already created some of the most complex automations recently.
To migrate.
Okay, we are going to cover this in our work the next sessions. Why we prefer Salesforce Flows over Apex, and when we recommend Salesforce Flows over Apex triggers.
Okay, sir, I have a question.
नहीं, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि इसको नहीं करना चाहिए, मैं तो लड़ना हूँ आपका एक बार पूछना कि एक चीज इधर में छोटा सा काम चल रहा है, तो हम फ्लो की तरफ से आते हैं, ठीक है, एक तो हमारी बहुत अच्छी बात थी कि वो एडमिन भी आसान है जिसको कोडिंग नहीं आती, ठीक है, लेकिन हम जब कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी की तरफ जाते हैं, वैलिडेशन रूल मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स होते हैं, हम नहीं लिख पाते हैं, हम कोडिंग की तरफ जाते हैं, ठीक है, तो इस पर भी कुछ इस तरीके का अगर कॉम्प्लेक्स कोई आ गया चीज़ इसके अंदर, तो फिर तो ट्रिगर की तरफ जाना पड़ेगा, इसका हमें कहाँ पे बस पड़ेगा?
सही बात है
जी,
ये कुछ प्री डिफाइंड सेट्स हैं जो आपको इसीलिए दिए हैं, वही सारे कॉम्प्लेक्स सिनेरियोज देखते हुए जिसके लिए वो लोग छोटे छोटे बॉक्सेस बना दिए हैं, डिसीजन बॉक्स, स्टार्ट बॉक्स, एंड बॉक्स, इंटरेक्शन बॉक्स, ये सब इसीलिए बनाया हुआ है कि ये रोजमर्रा में इस्तेमाल होने वाली चीज है और ये कंटिन्यूसली यही है। अगर आपको कोई एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी कस्टमाइजेशन करनी है तो उसके लिए फिर इवेंचुअली कोड ही इस्तेमाल होगा, लेकिन जस्ट टू सेव योर टाइम उसने आपको प्री डिफाइंड सेट ऑफ वो दे दिए हैं
जहाँ से हो सके इस पे करें, अगर जहाँ पे यहाँ पे
जैसे जैसे एडवांसमेंट होगी वो बहुत सारी चीजें जो और लोगों को सिनेरियो आते हैं वो इसीलिए आपने देखा होगा एक आइडिया एक्सचेंज प्लेटफॉर्म बनाता है सेल्सफोर्स इंडिया, तो उस पे यही आइडियाज आते हैं और अभी भी एक रिसेंटली ईमेल आई है जिसपे आइडियाज जो है वो अपलोड करते हैं लोग, तो वो जो लोगों को प्रॉब्लम्स आती है दिन के हिसाब से वो उसमें आ जाकर वो देखते हैं, अगर ऑलरेडी कोई आइडिया दिया हुआ है तो उसको अपलोड कर लेना है और वो आइडिया सीखते भी है, तो वो यही प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं। अगर आपके पास भी कोई ऐसा प्रॉब्लम आ रहा होगा जो ऑलरेडी रिलीज में नहीं फाइनल हुआ है उसकी होगा तो वो आइडियाज पे आप जाकर अपलोड कर सकते हैं, वो फिर नेक्स्ट रिलीज में टारगेट होकर फिर वो उसी के अंदर आ जाता है, तो ये भी सब एडवांसमेंट्स आहिस्ते आहिस्ते ही है, फ्लोज भी पहले नहीं थे,
फ्लोज पहले से और मतलब पहले लिमिटेशंस थी कि 6 से ज्यादा ट्रिगर्स नहीं बना सकते थे, अब उसमें हो गया सब फ्लोज में तोड़ के बना सकते हैं।
So previously there were workflows, process builders. Salesforce retired those automations and empowered the Salesforce flows. So before there was not this option to delete the record or trigger on the deletion action. So you'll see that Salesforce is focusing on the flows and powering it up. In each release, you should see that they are enabling more capabilities in the flows. They are more focused on the low code or no code approach to empower the Salesforce admins.
और आप ट्रिगर बनाते हैं तो उसके साथ एक फाइल की 3 फाइल हैंडलर बनता है, टेस्ट लॉग होती है, उसकी पूरी टेस्टिंग होती है, इसमें अगर आपको 5 मिनट 10 मिनट लग रहे हैं तो उसमें आपको 1 मिनट लगेगा, कितना डिफरेंस है, लॉग्स है और उसका यूआई इतना फ्रेंडली नहीं है जितना इसका है,
बिल्कुल आइडिया के लिए फ्रेंडली है।
Okay, so we have a question. We can activate only one version at a time. Yes, we so if you have multiple versions of a single flow, you can have a single version uh, activate it. You cannot have multiple versions. You cannot activate multiple versions of a flow. You have only one version. You can only activate one version of the flow.
Also, to answer your first question, it's better to debug this flow rather than to create test records, because eventually you would be cleaning up the records, right? It's better to debug that code.
Okay, so we can create another flow and see some other complex scenarios as well.
यहाँ क्वेश्चन, जब हम लोग उसमें ऑप्शंस पे गए थे तो हमारे पास उसमें बॉडी का एक टेक्स्ट बॉक्स था. उस बॉडी में हम वो तो स्टैटिक कंटेंट होता है. अगर टेम्पलेट हम कोई चूज करेंगे तो उसमें हम डायनामिक वेरिएबल्स डाल सकते हैं.
Dynamic variables also. So it is a very good question.
इस्तेमाल होता है
Yes.
ताकि आप उसमें अपनी कस्टमाइजेशन वगैरह कर सकते हैं.
So what Hassan is talking about is
कस्टमर नोटिफिकेशन बना रहे हैं जिसमें पिक्चर्स ये इस तरह की चीज ऐड कर सकते हैं, ऐसे कोई होता है
क्योंकि वो जो नोटिफिकेशन आपने देखा था उसमें और कुछ नहीं आ रहा.
like even on the YouTube की when we do have a notification तो उस तरह एक thumbnail आता है ना वीडियो
उसमें ज़्यादा होती है इसमें.
okay.
आप आइडिया एक्सचेंज बता रहे तो
आइडिया एक्सचेंज हो जाएगा.
Okay, so what I did is in this text box I added the hard coded values, right? What I can do is I can create a new resource, select it as a variable, data type text, or what you can do is you can use a text template. Let's say notification body, and what you can do is you can have this as the body of the notification, and you can also insert the resources as well. So if I want to show the ID of the user, the name of the record, so let's try this. Instead of just saying the record is created, let's say the name of the record has been created. Okay, so again I'm going to select the record and use the name has been created and use this as a body. Okay, save as a new version, activate this. Click save. So you see ABC company has been created, and you can see the paragraph text because it was enabled as a rich text. So let me show you. I use the text template, and template can be used as a rich text or just a plain text. So if I open the resource manager and show you, so this was enabled as a view as rich text. I can select view as plain text. So using this option, it will not show me the paragraph text. And one more thing, so we added the target ID. Now if I just click on this notification, it will take me to the account. Sorry, my screen was not showing. Yeah, So if I click on this notification, it will take me to the record. Similarly, the record we created previously, we created the record. It took me to the this record. The next scenario, what we can do is an account can have multiple contacts, and what I'm thinking of is if let's create a field on account and contact as well. Let's call it active, a checkbox. If the checkbox, this active checkbox is not checked or updated to checked or not checked, the associated context should replicate this. So yes, so we have this active, yes or no. Contact, creating a checkbox, naming it active. Next. Let's create a few contacts. Okay, we have created three records, three contacts associated with this account. Okay, so going to each record and showing you the result will take some time. So what I have done is I have uh, executed a query on contact, and I'm showing the name and the field's value. Let's update this or create a new flow. Again, I'm using it on account whenever a record is updated. And now I'm using the conditions. I'm adding the conditions. What are the conditions? Okay. So whenever the this active it is a pick list, whenever this is changed, and I'm setting it true. So is changed means whenever the record is updated and this particular field is updated, it will trigger on this condition. Before, what we were doing is we were not checking any condition. We were just triggering this automation whenever the record is created. Now, what I have configured it that if the record is updated and this field is changed, then it should trigger this automation. And so this operator only have this two values, true or false. So I've added true. Uh, okay. So first, what I need is uh, to get the context associated with this triggering record. So add the element get records. Let's say get contacts. Which object it is? Contact. And conditions. So we don't have any conditions, but we want the contact records that are associated with this particular account. Okay. So let's say in this contact record there is a field account id, which is a standard field, and we are setting it that it should be equal to this accounts records id, and we want all the records. Now let's add the decision, or let's say okay, this is a decision. This is a decision element, which is also a logical element. It is equivalent to if else statement in the Apex, or in any other language it is equivalent to if else statement. So we have the outcome order and the configuration of this statements. So let's say if account accounts active field is yes, equals to yes. Okay, and we have a default outcome which makes it the else statement. So first we have the if statement, and then we have the else statement. So what is going to check is basically if the account's active field has the value yes, then what actions need to be performed. Otherwise, what the default outcome means else, this should be performed. Okay, now what we want is to update the related uh, update the contexts. Context to deviated. Okay, so we have some multiple options to select how to find the records to update and set their values. So the first one is use the account record that the flow, update records related to the account record that triggered the flow, use IDs and all fields from a record or record collection, specify condition to identify records and set fields individually. So each option has different configuration. So for this option, what I have to do is I have this ability to search the related records, or using this, what I can do, I have already selected those contexts that are associated with the account. What I can do is I can directly pass these records, but I need an assignment as well to set the value for this activate field for the contexts. In this option, what I can do is if I have uh, a relationship on the account object. In this case, we don't have any lookup or I think there's only one available, the parent account. On the contact, we have the field account lookup. So in this case, we cannot use this one. Similarly, in this case, we cannot use this. So what we're going to do is we are going to just select contact where the account ID is equals to the record what we did for the get context. In this case, the get context is useless. And setting the value to true. So I'm going to delete this one because this is useless. So what this will check is it will trigger the whenever the account is updated and the active field is updated, it's going to check what is the value of this active field. If it is yes, then it is going under this going to follow this path, and what this element will do is will update the associated contacts and set their active fields value to true, because I used the checkbox. I did not created a picklist field. I created a checkbox. And in the else statement, it's going to take me a lot of time. I have to replicate this one. I have to go and update this and add the same element, use the same configuration. So it will take time. So what can I do is click on this, copy the element, paste it over here. Oh, sorry. I think I selected the wrong option. Copy element, paste the element. And you can see the same configuration is now cloned. It saved my time of it saved my time configuring the same element again. What can I do is I can just update the API name and instead of the setting the value to true, set false. And for this, we are going to use debug functionality. So this will follow the path of run immediately. And the good thing about this debugging is if you make any changes to the record here, it will roll back all the changes. So I select account, and as it was it was going to trigger on the update, and I can see that I have the all the fields available in here, and I have this condition to trigger the automation on the active field. I cannot see the active. Yes, here it is. So right now it is set to none. If I select yes, the status of the status of this field is now changed. And if I click run, you see this the highlighted path. It is showing me that the configuration that I have tested on, the automation followed this path. The highlighted path you can see, it is showing me that this automation, when it was triggered, it followed this path. So I can see that it was triggered, or the automation executed according to my requirement. Okay, so I used the value of the active as yes, and now if I see the context, okay, yeah, so it was a debug, it rolled back. You can see, because the flow ran in rollback mode, any changes to add, delete, or modify records rolled back. So basically it changed the records over here and then rolled back all the changes. Now I see that it is working fine. I can activate it and I can go back to my actual record and update it. Select yes, save. Now the records are updated and the active field is changed to true. See, so these are some of the cases on which you can build these automations. There can be some more complex uh, cases you will experience. Uh, we don't have much time. Otherwise, we have covered all other all not all, some other complex cases. But I believe now you have this basic understanding of the record ticket flows, that how it is configured, how it is built, what are the elements, what are how to connect these, what are the layouts of this, uh, how to plan to build these automations. So let's have some questions from the virtual participants, and you guys can also ask if you have any questions.
Question. In this the last scenario, the last was created, you first associated an account object with the flow, and then later on you associate those specific contacts.
No.
Actually, you build the flow on the top of an account first, and then later you associate those specific contacts with that flow. Example.
So the reason of showing you this case is, what you can do is you can configure the flow on one object and update the related objects as well. Even if the objects are not related, you can update, you can modify, you can delete, you can create other objects as well that are not associated with this object. So let's say if I have this let's say uh, if I have this requirement that whenever the account is created, I need to create some other objects record that is not even linked with this record. But the automation says or states that whenever the account is created, The other object is not linked to this the account object, but what my automation needs to perform is to create the record of this type of object. There are multiple scenarios, there are complex scenarios that you can find it on I'll share the resources as well. But the purpose of showing you this cases is to show you the possibilities what you can do with these automations. Rizwan, yes, we will upload the recording of this session, and we will update on the group as well. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, moving on. The resources, the screen is stuck. I'm sharing a different screen. I'm sharing my presentation. Let me reshare.
Can we initiate a record triggered flow using a button on the record page? Without
Okay, so no, record triggered flows does not require any user interactions. So if you want to invoke an automation, you can use the auto launch flow. So I showed this in this example. So you see this is the auto launch flow that is triggering on the button. The user clicked this button, automation invoked, and it updated it performed some actions, updated the status of the record from submitted to assigned, and also updated the owner as well. So so if you want to initiate an automation on a button click, then you can use the auto launched flows. Yes. So the helpful resources, you can start with these badges on the trailhead. I have also associated the links as well. So this is one of the module that will help you with the record triggered flows. It has all the so this is a module, and this has all the guidelines. The guidelines are provided in this module. This one we just have discussed that we configured this automation on whenever a record is created, whenever a record is updated. All you will see all the guided instructions here, and in the end you have this challenge. You can perform it, and uh, all these steps provided in these module, and this will also help you earn the badge, and it will show up in your trailhead profile as well, that you have already for me that it is showing that you have completed it, and it is showing me that how many points I have earned from each of this challenge. and this will help you to increase the ranks, rank up your profile. And this is a super badge. This is going to be the most difficult. Let me show you how it is. So for this, you will need to create a special developer edition, and this super badge has all the instructions provided in this super badge, and these are the business requirements that are provided to you. Sorry, this is the super badge. And you see all the instructions are provided in all the instructions are provided here. And here are the use cases. The people who are asking for actual projects, actual hands-on experience challenges, super badges are for you. These are going to be very difficult, but once you start uh, uh, once you start basically playing with these super badges, you'll see that these are almost close enough to the real world examples. You can start with these badges. You can reach out to me if you are having any issues with these badges, or you are not able to find solutions to these badges. And I want to request you all to fill out the feedback form. Please do fill out this, so we get the idea. So it is a very small form. It's going to ask you about this workshop series, this workshop session. So we get the feedback from you, what we can do better, what you liked, what you want to change, and how would you like to rate this session, so we can improve. In the next session we can improve, we can tailor. I'll enable the permissions. Okay, so let's have a quiz, and the winner of this quiz will have the swags. The swags are only for the in-person participants. They are not for the virtual participants. Apologies.